to get your fix.
Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks, and welcome to the show here on this beautiful, true Identity Tuesday, November 16th, 2021. Now, last night we were blessed with yet another how the fuck did that happen type of game or moment, and that seems to be, the narrative the past couple weeks in the NFL, where teams that we, expect or expect to walk away victorious ultimately end up walking away defeated. We watched the Bills do it 9-6 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bills got redemption this week, but then we also seen it this week with quite a few teams like the Browns losing or getting the dog shit beat out of them literally by the New England Patriots 45-7. The Cowboys bouncing back in a big way, even though we expected them to beat the Atlanta Falcons, but they got beat by the Denver Broncos previously the week before 30-16. But that just seems to really be, how the NFL is starting to come together. Now, however, this trend hasn't just been happening the past couple weeks like we assumed. The past three, for sure 3 weeks, we've kind of noticed this trend of the underdogs really, getting the edge, or ultimately getting the edge over, the better teams, if you will. But in fact, the NFL underdogs this week in Week 10 went 9-5 against the spread. Okay, that's obviously if they're 3-point favorites, if they're not 3-point favorites, stuff like that. They went 9-5 against the spread. But also, the underdogs are 87, 62, and 1, or 58% win percentage against the spread this season. So basically, this entire season has been a bunch of underdogs walking away with a win when it wasn't supposed to, go that way, or supposed to happen that way. With the Minnesota Vikings Week 1 losing the Cincinnati Bengals, who would have thought the Bengals were going to eventually get to the number 1 seed in the AFC. Now they are sitting at the last seed in their division, with the Browns, Steelers, and Ravens being above them in the rankings. I believe the Browns and Bengals are sitting right there pretty even at this time in the season. Now, this has been an absolute, roller coaster of an NFL season so far. Like, there are obviously those teams where we know that they will win, right? But then you got those teams who from week to week are constantly different in the way they perform, the way they go out there and they do their business. All right? I would continue to expect this trend or this craziness to occur, going forward, where the worst of the two teams that are playing might just fucking win, basically. Now, honestly, with the way the NFL has gone week to week, it's been really difficult to really figure out the true identities of some of the teams. We've kind of went over basically a good majority of the teams and telling you guys what I think their identity is. Like, Titans being Derrick Henry, not anymore because he's out of the season. Now they're just that offensive juggernaut. And then you got the Green Bay Packers. Their identity is Aaron Rodgers. They need him in a big way. All right. But I think we got a good couple, teams here to dive into and talk about later in the show. But before we get to that, we have got to talk about last night's mind blower of a game. So, are you ready to get your fix? So last night, obviously, we had the Los Angeles Rams taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the 49ers haven't won in 8 straight home games since last night, or before last night, I should say, where basically not only myself, but guest host of Fantasy Football Friday on the show, Y4, and Logan Dynamite Bombguard, all of us said, hey, look, there's not much to say about this game. The Rams are going to win. That's basically the gist of the story. Like, you don't have to worry about any, this might happen, this could happen. No, we all said, listen, Rams are going to win. That's just what's going to happen. How you doing? Keep it moving. Well, the 49ers kind of made us eat our words. Not only us, I think the entire nation. I think a lot of people had the Rams winning this one easily and or in easy fashion. And that just wasn't the case. Okay, the 49ers end up winning this game for 31-10. Not only winning, but beating the absolute piss out of the Los Angeles Rams, making you think, what is this Rams team really? Like, yeah, they're good. But, I mean, the 49ers aren't that great this season. Why did they end up losing this game? A lot of people are saying, oh, it's Odell Beckham. I don't think it is. There's a whole bunch of stuff that kind of plays into the outcome of games, and there was some obvious signs of why the Rams really didn't do well and didn't exceed last night, didn't get that victory last night. Their offense, the Rams' offense, struggled tremendously. Okay, they were without Robert Woods. Obviously, he's out the entire season or the rest of the season with an ACL tear. But I think it's safe to say that they really need Robert Woods in a big way. Okay, not only, I get that they signed OBJ, right? And they signed Odell Beckham Jr. because he didn't want to be with the Browns. It just wasn't working out there. He comes over to the Los Angeles Rams. Wasn't really expected to get the start at all before this Robert Woods news really came out. So he wasn't really 100% prepared for the game. He was just kind of getting into the flow of things, learning the offense here and there. What do I need to do to be ready to get maybe a handful of plays during this game? And Robert Woods gets hurt. And I think it was very, very apparent that you could tell that Robert Woods wasn't on the field last night. He had a bunch of backup wide receivers coming in to play the game, and all of those wide receivers really just weren't on the same page with Matthew Stafford, like at all. You could, at least I could see that right from the get-go. Basically, you had I can't remember their names, but number 18 was out there. He got a lot of balls thrown to him. Matthew Stafford missed a bunch, and I think that was one of the big reasons why Stafford struggles having Robert Woods gone and being out the rest of the season is because that he already has that chemistry built with both Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson did all right last night as well. Tyler Higbee, he has that chemistry with. But when you put these, third string wide receivers in the game, it's like, how do you expect him to perform at the best of his ability when he really has, zero snaps with any of these guys in games, 0 snaps with these guys in practice, because we all know there's a one team or the first team reps, there's second team reps, there's third team reps or third string reps and stuff like that. So Matthew Stafford doesn't really have that chemistry built up with all these backups at the wide receiver position. All right, so I think that was a big thing, and Stafford struggled last night. All right, he really did. He did do okay, somewhat with the yardage and touchdown-wise. Not really touchdown-wise, I guess, but 26 of 41 passing, 243 yards, had a touchdown pass, but he also had 2 interceptions. And basically those 2 interceptions just came from, that chemistry that hasn't been built up yet between the wide receivers and Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was overthrowing people left and right, just didn't know when to make the throw, how to make the throw. The only person that really, or the 2 people that really, I guess you could say 3 people that he actually has chemistry with on that team at this point before last night was Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Van Jefferson. And a lot of people thought that OBJ was the reason the Rams' offense was a little sluggish, all right, not on the same page. It wasn't. Okay, I'm going to tell all you OBJ haters right now to just shut your mouth, basically. He comes into the game, first play of the game. Matthew Stafford drops back to pass, hits Odell Beckham Jr. on the right side of the field for a 5-yard gain. At that point, I'm thinking, all right, we might be in for a fun game, for a fun a celebration for how you doing. Odell, welcome to the Rams. Here's your yards, here's your touchdowns. It's going to be a fun one. All right. Then the second time he gets the ball thrown to him. And this one, everyone was ripping Odell, a new one basically, and now there's a bunch of memes out there saying this is OBJ Senior and Odell going to be linking up after this game to find all the video clips of Stafford not throwing him the ball, and it's like, calm the fuck down. This is his first game with the Los Angeles Rams. He had 3 or maybe 2.5, 3 days to fully prepare for this game, to be the starter or be the second string wide receiver right behind Cooper Kupp on this Rams offense, who were sitting at 7-2 going in this game. No chemistry whatsoever in those 2.5 days. Yeah, I get, Jalen Ramsey was on his FaceTime. These players know each other, but it's like, it's different. You might know the guy until, obviously, you work with him, you go play with him, you do something like that. Then you really get to understand their chemistry, how they go about their business and stuff like that. Things start to click a little bit easier. That second pass that Odell Beckham had was not Odell's fault at all. I really do believe 150%, unless I can go, you guys send me a video that it shows different, that OBJ, he was running his route, and his route was finished. He had a post route that was towards the outside or the out of bounds of the field, right? Down the left side of the field. Well, Matthew Stafford has to fucking dodge, dip, and duck, and dive, and dodge, or whatever, out of the pocket, and he just sees some white over there. He just, fuck it, and chucks the ball. Nowhere near Odell. Nowhere near him. At all. Right to 2 defenders of that 49ers team, where one of them gets the interception. He actually had 2 interceptions last night. I am not 100% sure. I can't remember his name. I did go look at the stats, obviously, before the show to see what kind of transpired defensively and stuff like that. But I get all these messages. Oh, seen that before, Odell running his own route and blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's the case. Because when you go to a new team and when you get that first start, you have 2.5, 3 days of practice to really understand this offense, to really understand or build some type of chemistry with Matthew Stafford. There's no way in hell that OBJ is going to run his own route until his route is finished, until the Rams route that was given to him is finished. He was running a post route towards the outside of the field. Matthew Stafford threw a very shitty ball like he did all night long. He did not have... he was just making throws that were ugly. Plain and simple. Really, really ugly throws all night long from Matthew Stafford, and that was one of them. That was just the start of the bad throws from Stafford. OBJ ends up getting another pass later in the game for 13 yards. A first down, move the chains. He had 2 catches on 3 targets for 18 yards. That's a give me. I said, I think it might have been last Thursday or on Fantasy Football Friday, I said, listen, OBJ, if he does get to play, is going to be limited. He's going to have certain plays that he can go run and certain things that he can't do. And a lot of them he can't do. 3 targets. It's because he doesn't know that offense. He doesn't have the chemistry built up with Matthew Stafford like you need to have. That's why there's preseason games for these rookie receivers and these rookie athletes to build that chemistry with the team that they were drafted to. And he doesn't, know the culture, the Rams culture quite yet. It's going to take some time. Why isn't anybody talking about Von Miller? Von Miller really hasn't done shit since being on the Rams either. It blows my mind. People just always looking for that outlet, that bigger outlet. And one thing that kind of threw me off guard last night was right when the game started, they had stars to watch. Basically every game or every primetime game, they have stars to watch. They have 2 people for every team. And on the Rams side, this really was weird. They had stars to watch: Aaron Donald and Von Miller. Why would you put Von Miller up there when he just got traded to you from the Broncos? Really hasn't been on this team. But, Jalen Ramsey is a freak of nature for the Rams. Has been a top 5, top 10 cornerback in the NFL for quite some time, since it's actually been in the NFL. Why isn't he on there? I'm assuming he was on there the week before, or the previous week, or whatever, before Von Miller was actually on the team. But last night, this was not OBJ's fault. This was not Von Miller's fault. This was Matthew Stafford's fault and the offense. Basically, the whole Rams offense struggled big time. They could not get anything going. Cooper Kupp had a pretty solid day, but the 49ers defense played phenomenal last night. Right? They had 2 sacks, 6 pass deflections, 2 interceptions, and One of those interceptions were returned for a touchdown because it was short field, pretty easy to take to the house. And really, after that touchdown from that interception, that's where you kind of seen the game really come to fruition. And you knew right at that moment in time that, hey, the Niners are going to win this game unless some miracle happens towards the end of the game. It just bugs me that people are taking shots at Odell because, I mean, how can you take a shot at Odell? Like, if he goes out there and does this next week and the week after, yeah, go for it. Fucking let him roll. I do not care at all. But he's had 2.5 to 3 days of practice, okay, maybe less with this to build that chemistry, to know this team. It's not his fault. It was basically the 49ers defense saying, hey, fuck you. This is our division, and we're going to make it tough on you to try to get wins in this division. Arizona Cardinals lost. The Rams lost. The Seahawks got shut out, and the 49ers were the only team in that division, the NFC West, to win. All right, and that defense did played a big part in that, making sure to keep that Rams offense off the field, keep their offense, the 49ers offense, on the field as long as possible. Where Jimmy Garoppolo, he didn't do too much through the air, and that's, kind of a give me. He's not really gonna have that many passing attempts in any game because he's not really a passing quarterback. We've seen that in his Super Bowl run a couple years ago, where they ran the ball more than they passed the ball. Last night he went 15 of 19, 182 yards. He did have 2 touchdowns passing, so that's pretty good. No interceptions on his side of things, and that's pretty impressive, especially with the way that Rams defense is all set up. But look, the one takeaway from that Rams offense is Deebo Samuel, and he is a fucking beast. He is a really, really good athlete. 5 rushes, 36 yards, and a touchdown. He also had 5 catches on 5 targets for 97 yards and 1 touchdown. Deebo Samuel tore apart that Rams defense left and right, and I know that I guess for some odd reason, Kyle Shanahan has always had Sean McVay's number, has always kind of edged him in games since Sean McVay became a head coach. But 49ers played a really, really solid game offensively and defensively. That defense was obviously a huge factor, kept the Rams off the field. But when that Niners offense was on the field, they just kind of let that time expire slowly but surely. I mean, that first quarter fucking flew by. They barely had time for, I think it was Al Michaels to come on air before Phil Mickelson, I think, came on and stuff like that. But it was a good game for the 49ers, not for the Rams. It kind of threw us all for a loop where we all assumed the Rams were going to win this game. They're the better team offensively, defense, just all around. This is the better team than the 49ers. The 49ers made us eat our words, though. Okay, 49ers win 31-10, moving to a 4-5 record where the Rams go to 7-3. So now it's time to get to True Identity Tuesday. All right. We have 3 teams for today because literally I could not decide what other fucking teams to talk about, basically, because who knows what the hell is going on in the NFL. Like I said earlier in the show, when 9-5 or underdogs are 9-5 against the spread in Week 10. Total, they're 87-62-1 against the spread, or 58% win percentage against the spread. So this whole season's really been the underdog central, basically, but only against the spread. All right, so to start things off, we got the New England Patriots. All right, they're coming off a huge win against the Cleveland Browns, 45-7. What are the Browns really? We don't know at this point in time. They just got rid of OBJ. They're trying to figure out their identity. Not really sure if they know their true identity at all. But the New England Patriots are starting to roll. They're starting to roll really, really nicely. We talked about them yesterday, right? They start the season off 2-4, and since then, they've won 4 straight. They're now 6-4. All right. Their true identity, and I think this is an obvious one, is Bill Belichick. That's their identity, the New England Patriots, because we've seen that 20-year span with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the mastermind behind everything. Tom Brady usually had little to no weapons. The defense was always a staple there for the New England Patriots. They lose Tom Brady last year. Now they struggle a little bit. They have nothing. Cam Newton's their quarterback, had more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns. No receivers really to do anything. They finished the season 7-9, missed the playoffs for the first time in a while. But now they're 6-4. and they're fighting for their division. Okay, they're right there with the Bills. Who would have thunk, huh? Not me, to be honest with you. I thought this was going to be the Bills easily taking the division, but the Patriots are doing really well. Bill Belichick all-time is 317 and 152 for the record. All-time, that's counting regular season and playoffs. This man, once he gets going and once he starts finding his groove, once he gets everyone to buy into their mantra, do your job. The New England Patriots are a tough team to beat and always have been. They're gonna fight tooth and nail, basically. They gave the Buccaneers a run for their money when they started the season 2-4, basically. Bill Belichick is a big reason and plays a big part, not only with Mac Jones and all that side stuff, but Bill Belichick is the main reason the New England Patriots are starting to come together and starting to play really, really good football. And my friend, Logan, guest host of the Fantasy Football Friday, sent me a little, I guess, the Patriots schedule, and it said, do you think the Patriots can make the playoffs and go further? And I said yes. And I'll give you a reason why. So their next 5 games are against the Falcons, the Titans, the Bills, then they have a bye, then they play the Colts, and then the Bills again. And I believe they got like Jacksonville after that, and maybe the Chargers after that, if I'm not mistaken. But when I going back just a little bit briefly, they haven't played the Bills yet, and they're right there with the Bills. Super, how do you want to say it? Draw a blank. But they're right there together. They're equal in records, basically. They're playing some solid football, each of them are. The Bills might have a little bit of an edge, but I said yes, basically, because, look, the Patriots are going to beat the Falcons, plain and simple. I don't see the Falcons winning that game. The Falcons are kind of starting to look like shit and look like they're going back to what they were supposed to be to start the season. Then they got the Titans. They're number 1 in the AFC. That's going to be a tough game, but I think New England has a big chance to win that one, especially with Derrick Henry not playing and not being available. Then they got the Bills. And in this 5-game stretch, or this 6-week stretch, actually, they have the Bills twice. And I said yes, and I said, listen, they have a chance to make the playoffs, especially if they beat the Bills both times. If they beat the Bills both times, something tells me the Patriots win their division, get the 1 through 4 seed, obviously, in the playoffs. And then from there, who knows what the hell is going to happen. And Mac Jones, a rookie, who knows really how that all is going to really play out. But the New England Patriots are all in this season, I feel like. They spend a shit ton of money in free agency, bringing in Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar. I mean, the list goes fucking on and on. And it's starting to come to fruition. This is exactly what Bill saw in his mind of what this team would look like at the midway point, maybe at the end of the season. He's like, all right, we're starting to find our groove. Mac's our guy. I think we're going to be just fine. Sitting at 6-4. I mean, already basically a better record than last year when they finished 7-9. I have a feeling the Patriots might win their division. Might. I'm just saying I have a feeling they might, even though I have the Bills still going to the Super Bowl. I hope that it still stays to fruition, but this Patriots teams, they're coming together. They're coming together, and they're doing it very quickly. And if they continue to finish the way they have played the last 4 weeks, we're going to be in for a fun division battle between the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. So the next team on True Identity Tuesday will be the Arizona Cardinals. I haven't really talked too much about them other than I think I said maybe this was Kyler Murray's offense. That's their identity. It kind of goes through him and stuff. Well, I'm kind of tweaking that a little bit, and I'm saying their identity is their stars. That's their identity. They need their stars in a big way, and I think we've seen that this week when they lost to the Panthers 34-10. The Panthers are a team that's really hit and miss this season. They played really good defensively at the start, started decreasing in production recently. But the Cardinals need their stars in a big way, because if Kyler Murray's there, DeAndre Hopkins is there, and the other ones are there, they win that game. At least that's what I believe. Especially, since the Carolina Panthers got going hot and that momentum swung their way, it's like, all right, you put Kyler Murray in that offense, DeAndre Hopkins back in there, sparks are going to start flying, fireworks are going to start getting lit up, And I think we got a whole entirely different game, a different outcome for the Cardinals. Their identity is definitely their stars, and they need them in a big way. And I think we've seen that so far this entire season, starting off, 7-0, 8-0, and then losing to Green Bay. Or no, they were 7-0, lost to Green Bay. They were 7-1, excuse me. But look, they're next 5, and they need these next 5 in a big way if they want to get the number 1 seed in the NFC, if they want to even win their division with the Rams, who knows what the hell the Rams are. They're a good team, but I mean, they just lost to a division rival. But their next 5 are the Seattle Seahawks, which that'll be interesting because Russell Wilson just got shut out. I don't think that happens again. I think they come out firing on all cylinders, make this a tough one for the Cardinals, and that's a division matchup. So then after the Seahawks, they got a bye. Then they play the Bears. Okay, that'll be a fun one as well, especially if Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are there. Then they got the Rams, the division battle. That'll be a very, very fun one. Then they got the Lions and the Colts. They could easily lose 3 of these games, 3 of those next 5 games. They could lose 4 of the next 5 games. If they don't have Kyler Murray, if they don't have DeAndre Hopkins, if they don't have any of their stars on that team. That defense, I don't know what the hell happened there against the Carolina Panthers. They got to figure that out. Definitely do. But it also goes back to what I said last Friday, I believe, or Thursday, where I said basically this could be the time where we see the Cardinals just fall off the face of the earth, basically. Just start losing. Just continue to lose. And that seems to be kind of what the Cardinals have been about lately, or about the last couple seasons, where they look like they're a contender, but they're really not fully a contender. They barely miss the playoffs, or they barely make the playoffs. They're a really hit and miss team, and now having them go having an incredible start to their season, it's just like something seems a little fishy here. But also they could easily win all of these games if their stars are there. Their identity, the Arizona Cardinals' identity, is their stars. So finally, for our last team for True Identity Tuesday would be the Minnesota Vikings. Now look, their identity is basically that they're a hard-fighting team that's good enough for the playoffs, but also good enough for not making the playoffs, or also bad enough to not make the playoffs. 8 out of the last 9 games the Vikings played this season, or I guess all the games, have been 1-possession games. The other one being the Seattle Seahawks, in which we beat them 30-17. That's a 2-possession game right there. We just can't figure it out, basically. A lot of games going to overtime. I think 2 or 3 games have went in overtime. 3 or 4 games have been decided on last-minute field goals. And this week could have easily have been the exact same outcome. 27-20, give the Chargers an opportunity to maybe tie the game. We're going for it on 4th and 2. We barely get it. Seal the deal. How you doing? Keep it moving. The Vikings win, move to 4-5 on the season. But at the same time, when you watch all these games, drive number 1, fucking touchdown, Minnesota. They're up 7-0. And by the way, the Minnesota Vikings are the only team this season to lead every single game by 7 points. And we're 4-5. Bullshit, right? And I don't know what's happening here in Minnesota, but we might be fucking cursed. I have no idea how the hell or why the hell that would be the case. I mean, it's not like we Calvin Johnson somebody or Barry Sanders or whatever doing the Lions mumbo jumbo over there. It's just like, can we just catch a break for once? I mean, my goodness. It blows my mind. I mean, we are literally right there. We score right away. Perform amazing. You're like, all right, this is our year. We're going to have a good game. We're going to win this week. We're going to move on, probably win the next week, because we're a team that really just can't be stopped. And then it gets to that second possession, then the third possession, then the fourth possession. And by about the fourth possession, you're like, what the fuck is this team doing? Oh, yeah, let's go ahead and throw 13 screens in one half. Oh, shit, it's 3rd and 15? Let's do a fullback dive. Give it to CJ Ham, even though that man's doing incredible. Oh, shit. It's 3rd and 20. You know what? We could pass it. We could have, run spread out there. But you know what? Good old Kirky's going to drop back. Have plenty of time to just take the ball and throw it to the sideline. And he's going to take a sack. And then it's fourth and fucking forever, and we got to punt the goddamn ball. And then it's like, oh, we'll get to the second half. We start letting the team come back. Hits fourth quarter, and we're right there. We're like, please don't lose this game. We're sitting there like, what the fuck are we doing? And then we lose. Or we win, and we're like, oh, barely got away with that one. Good God. Can we just, for once, I guess we've had it one time. Can we just, for once, win a goddamn game by fucking 20 points? Or 14 points, for God's sakes. Like, we are good enough to beat every team in the NFL. That is how good the Vikings are. They don't play like it, though. They don't seem like it, though. Their offense, stellar. Kirk Cousins, 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Who would have thought? Nobody. I looked at that stat, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, 2? Only 2? I'm like, okay, sweet. I'll take that any day. Carson Wentz, 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Kirk's doing better. And Carson really, he's played sloppy football in the past and stuff like that. But the Vikings, they're going to play hard every single game. It's going to be a tough-fought battle every single game going down to the final second of the fourth quarter, maybe of overtime. I guess overtime I don't know what happens there, basically. We just give the other team the ball and let them kick their fucking field goal. And how you doing? Keep it moving. We'll take the L and go on to next week, but that shit has just got to stop. Like, we could have started the season off 5-0. I think, 1, 2, 3, 6-0, basically. If we win those 3 games that we lose, we could have beat the Browns, we could have beat the Bengals, we could have beat the Cardinals, and then we lose to the Cowboys. We could have done that. And then we lose to the Ravens, we could have won that. Like, we are right there. But our record doesn't show that. Okay, and the way we play and the way we finish doesn't show that. The way we start, hey, we're a good football team. We're a great football team, the way we start. After that, good luck, basically, is what they're telling the Vikings fans or telling their fans. Is like, hey, we'll give you that 7. Be the only team to take a lead by 7 points the entire season so far, out of the entire NFL. But after that, hey, who knows what's going to happen? You might as well just start the game 7-0 Minnesota, give the other team the ball, and see what the fuck happens. Because Minnesota cannot figure it out. But I believe their true identity is that they are a hard-fighting team. And they are good enough for the playoffs. But they're also bad enough where they might not make the playoffs. And, like, hey, thought Aaron Rodgers was the GOAT over there. No? Oh, weird. And then we might lose. Might get shit on by Green Bay, basically. That'll be a big one. Then after that, we got the 49ers. They just coming off a big win from the Rams. I can't remember who they have this upcoming week at the moment. But then we got the Lions, then the Steelers, and then the Bears. We could easily win all those games. Easily. It might be a little tougher against the Packers. Maybe a little tougher against the Steelers. Especially if Big Ben's back, because if Big Ben's not there, that team, Mason Rudolph is not the guy. I think we can all agree on that one over there, but Najee Harris seems to be the man over there. 20-plus carries damn near every single game. He's a workhorse. The man never stops, and he goes, I didn't know a game could end in a tie. What the fuck? Like, I could go another quarter. And he should have. They definitely should have. The NFL needs to figure that fucking shit out. No more ties. I hate the tie. Like, just throws it all off. Just throws everything off. Like, oh, who leads? Who's number 1 in the division? Is it the Steelers or is it the Ravens? I mean, Steelers didn't get a loss technically, so I mean they got less losses. That could play a factor here. I'm not talking about right now, because I think the Ravens are like 6-2 or 7-2. Where, no, yeah, they are. I think the Ravens have 2 losses this season. Anyways, you get what I'm trying to say. It screws up everything. It just screws up the thinking. It's like, well, can you just fucking finish the goddamn game, please? Like, just college doesn't have ties. High school, I don't think, has ties. Why the hell does the professional league, the NFL, the National Football League, say, you know what? After 5 quarters of play, if both teams are stuck at the exact same score, just call a goddamn game. And I think a lot of that has to do, honestly, when just thinking about it right now, a lot of that has to do with, I think, the broadcasting of games, because they got different programs after the game. They have different games to be played after that. But it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, you're still going to be making millions and millions and millions of dollars from these TV deals and all this stuff. It's like, just fucking finish the game so we can decide a winner and a loser, basically. Like, no more ties. I hate ties. It just ruffles my feathers, just grinds my gears. If Peter Griffin were here, he'd say that. You know what really grinds my gears? Ties. And then he'd go on and do his whole spiel and stuff. But, look, I think that's good for True Identity Tuesday, because like I said, we really have no idea with half these teams anymore what the hell their identity is, because it seems like the underdogs somehow come out on top. And, hey, that's the NFL. I mean, that's why this sport is awesome. You know, because you never know the outcome. All these teams are really, really good, and that's another reason why I think there's no way in hell a college team, especially Alabama, would come and beat an NFL team. There's just no way. Beat the worst NFL team. I just don't think there's any way possible, because the game is more fine-tuned in the NFL than it is the collegiate level. That's just how it is. All right, the NFL is, I mean, it's a different breed up here. I mean, like 1% of college athletes get drafted, or college football players, I think, get drafted to the NFL. So, I mean, you can take that information with what you, or you can do with that information what you will, but I'm just telling you, the NFL is a different breed of animals up here. So, that is it for True Identity Tuesday. Let's move to a documentary in which it is debuting tonight. And that is The Man in the Arena, Tom Brady. That happens tonight on ESPN Plus, and I believe it might be on Hulu as well, or any, any ESPN like bundle subscriptions. I'm not sure. I don't think it's gonna be on Disney Plus. I know it's gonna be on ESPN Plus for sure, especially if you have a subscription. It might be on Hulu. I did see something about that, so you can go check out that. But this is debuting tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time. I had to go figure that out. I couldn't remember if it was 7 or 8. But that is going to be a very, very fun or very interesting documentary. This reminds me of the Michael Jordan, Last Dance documentary. Could we be seeing a Last Dance from Tom Brady? I doubt it, but because this man just continues to go. But basically, what this documentary is, right? It gives an in-depth look at the greatest of all times, Tom Brady, obviously. 10 Super Bowl appearances through his eyes, his occurrences, what he went through, and what he believes to have seen and done throughout all those 10 Super Bowl appearances. And I think it might start with the Tuck Rule game and go from there, but this is going to be awesome. Like, I am so pumped up. This man is the reason why I was number 12 in every single sport. This man is the reason why I played football. Probably the reason I played sports, basically. So this, for me, is like for people who absolutely, worship Michael Jordan when they seen that Last Dance, and they were just all just in awe and just watching, and that's my guy, basically. That's how I'm feeling right now. Like, I'm pumped. I'm pumped up to see what actually, he was thinking, what he was actually going through at those times through his eyes, and his, I guess how you want to say it, basically, just through his eyes. Like, this is going to be a very, very fun documentary, and it's not just a one-part documentary. So this is going to debut tonight, obviously, Tuesday, November 16th. It happens tonight at 8 o'clock. But it is going to go every Tuesday throughout, I believe, the rest of the season. So, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 7 more weeks. So we could be seeing a 7-part, 8-part, maybe longer than that documentary of Tom Brady and maybe a 10-part, obviously. Maybe because of the 10 Super Bowl appearances, what he experienced through all 10 of them. That would be fucking... Oh, I'm getting pumped just thinking about it. And it is getting close to that time. We are about an hour and 20 minutes away from Man in the Arena, Tom Brady documentary to drop. I am excited. This drops right before HBO's Hard Knocks, where they are following the Indianapolis Colts, or have been following the Indianapolis Colts this entire season, and that will debut on November 17th, I believe that is. So tomorrow, that's fucking dope. I'm pumped. Did not think that was tomorrow. Yeah, obviously it is because today's the 16th. So we got two fucking bangers coming out. We got Tom Brady's documentary starting off, just hitting everything on the nuts, and then we got the fucking Hard Knocks. Carson Wentz talking about his fucking sprained ankles and making these just fucking lollygagged throws and only having 3 interceptions. Like, oh yeah, the hell yeah, let's do it. So today, tomorrow, big days for the sports of football, for obviously broadcasting wise and the media wise, I guess, for Tom Brady's documentary and the Hard Knocks coming out. But I'm pumped about this tonight. Like I said, this is going to be an in-depth look at Tom Brady's 10 Super Bowl appearances through his own eyes and what he experienced, like what the last dance was with Michael Jordan. So that is going to do it for the show today here on True Identity Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, whether that be on Facebook or YouTube. And if you are on YouTube, go subscribe or hit that subscribe button. It'd be much, much appreciated. And continue to watch down the road because we are only getting better day by day, week by week, month by month, season by season. Have a great rest of your night. Go watch Man in the Arena, Tom Brady documentary at 8 o'clock tonight. And you just got your fix with the Wicks. Thank you guys and have a great one. Peace out.